All right, what's going on, guys? I already went over this on stream, but for those of you who haven't seen the stream, I talked about RuneScape ahead and gave some of my thoughts about what's to come. And yeah, so we're going to go over it again and we will discuss some of my thoughts, my hopes, and my concerns about any of the content that might be coming up. We didn't say I'm going to have a ton of concerns, but just my general overall takeaways about all the stuff. So I'm not going to read any of this because this is just formalities. Okay, so beginning of the year. I don't know why this is in the order it's in. This should probably be in a different order, but it's fine. We're getting a new area in the beginning of next year. That's awesome. Anachronia is really cool. I really like Anachronia. I believe that was the last expansion that we got. Having that size expansion would be really cool. Obviously, it's going to take a couple of years for it to get that big, but just having a new area means a ton more content. So this is obviously very, very nice. This is probably the most exciting thing about the RuneScape ahead, that we are getting a new expansion. Improved skilling and new 110s. So one thing that they said they want to do is they want to improve skilling profitability. I don't know if it's supposed to be necessarily as profitable as bossing, but it does look like they want to make skilling a viable way of making money. Now, as it stands, you can make money skilling. It's not hard to do so. I think it's just not as fun or not as obvious, right? So archaeology has a lot of backloaded profit, meaning that you spend a ton of time gathering all of your relics, then you either or all of your artifacts, then you disassemble them into the components, make component crates and sell those, or you turn them into collections, get Tetracompass pieces and get your money back from that. Either way, this is one of the few skills that you can profitably run a big book. That's worth considering. Obviously, that's not going to compete with high-end bossing, but that's like 15, 20 mil an hour at least, right? I think it's 15 mil an hour to run a big book right now. So we're talking about 20 mil an hour base for archaeology, and that's assuming you're not really getting anything from your Tetracompasses. Archaeology is really good. Probably do it if you need a gathering skill that requires you to make money or that you want to make money from. Also, smithing is very profitable. The best XP in the game is taking +4 armor sets, turning them into +5s, turning them into burial. Making +4s is exceedingly profitable. You should do that if you want to train your smithing. It is slow for sure, but the money is there. Obviously, Big Game Hunter is relatively profitable. Not so much so if you're missing on Dragonmatics, but again, like there is money to be made in a lot of skills. So I think a lot of this has to do more with perception, but introducing more just GP into skilling will feel pretty good, especially because it increases a lot of the variety, right? Like being able to make 20 mil an hour from woodcutting would be pretty nuts, because I don't think we're even close to that right now. 110 rune crafting and 110 crafting. These are supposed to be similar to the mining and smithing, where rune crafting is supposed to give us our new level 100 magic weapons, and crafting is supposed to give us level 100 armor for ranged magic. My biggest concern with this is my current concern with the new primal armor is I'm not really sure who it's for. One of the issues with the primal armor is that it's bad. That's not good, obviously, kind of definitionally, but more to that is that they introduced a new armor into the game and it's craftable and it's just non-competitive. Now, do we want to be able to make the best armor in the game at no cost? Probably not. I think that's a fair talking point. Something else to consider is that why even let us wear primal armor if the point isn't to wear it? If the point of primal armor is this is the best smithing XP in the game. It seems like there needs to be something here that makes it like worthwhile. I guess the primal armor spikes are worth it, but that it just seems weird. It feels like I'm not getting something. The same is true of the weapon. The weapon is as good as an easy K with a shard. So you're saving like 2.2 bill or something by getting the new weapon, but it doesn't have a special attack. So it's actually just worse than easy K with a shard. Also, no one uses a physical easy K. Well, I shouldn't say no one. The vast majority of players don't use a physical EZK because its special attack is better inside of an EOF, so you can get the extended bleed with Masterwork Spear. That means that they released a weapon that is just worse than a currently existing weapon that we already have no need for a physical copy of. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not even saying it's bad. I'm not saying that there's no plans for it in the future. It is a good weapon in the sense that it can clear content, and it can do so for relatively cheap, but it just, I don't know who it's for. So my big concern is that the level 100 magic weapon that's craftable is going to be a level 100 stat stick, which in RuneScape just isn't very compelling. And the same is going to be true of the bow that we talk about later, but yeah, that's my big concern. With 110 crafting, this is less concerning because we can craft Tectonic, we can craft Serenic, we can craft Dracolith. There being new craftable armor doesn't actually tell us anything. Ideally, this means that we're going to start seeing more sets and more set bonuses and more cool ways of interacting with the 3 styles, or the 4 styles rather. But yeah, this is pretty vague, so it's hard to draw any real conclusions on this, but more content is more better, right? 2 new quests. We're finishing up the desert storyline. Honestly, I'm not a quest guy, but all my quest guys are saying that this is awesome and they're really excited for this. So I'm happy for them. That's pretty much my entire thoughts on this. Easter seasonal quest. I think that this stuff is really fun. I've really enjoyed the new seasonal events. They're later. We'll talk about the Halloween event a little bit, but the Christmas Village was really cool. Blooming Burrow is good. I think there's another one that we're getting. Oh, the Halloween one, I'm sure is going to be amazing. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this stuff being a regular occurrence in the game. It doesn't require a ton of upkeep, just like new cosmetics and stuff. And it's relatively fun to interact with. Combat achievements, I think this is awesome. Definitely, we're gonna do a series where we become a Grandmaster PVM. This is something I'm super looking forward to. It's been in OSRS for a really long time. Don't know why it's not in RS3, but it's going to be now. So super, super excited for this. This is definitely going to be a fun series to put together. I would be curious to see what the top end of this is going to be. Like, are we going to be getting solo hard mode Virago and like 4K Zamrock and solo Yakamaru and stuff like that? Is that going to be a part of this? Or like, do they want Grandmaster to be attainable for like a regular high-end player? I would be curious to see where that distinct. A Masket boss fight. Obviously, we don't know anything about this other than a Masket is going to be the next big boss. As an endgame level boss, I would hope that this is similar-ish to Zamorak, where there is a scaling difficulty, but I don't like the enrage system that Zamorak has. There's a lot of issues with it that I might make a video on at some point, but one of the big things about the enrage system at Zamorak is that there's only really a couple of difficulties where just while you're getting to the newer difficulties, you're taking a little bit more damage as you climb. So 0 to 99 is one difficulty. 100 to 899 is another difficulty. 900 to 2K is another difficulty. And then 2K plus is, you know, the fourth one. I guess there's story mode also. So like having that type of difficulty spread, I think it'll be pretty interesting. Like if there was an easy or a story mode, normal mode, hard mode, and extreme mode, where extreme mode is maybe a challenge mode where you're not really pushing that for loot, you're pushing it to show, hey, I can do this. I think that would be really cool, but we'll see how it ends up turning out. So the fourth Conjurer we're getting it on September 2nd. It's going to be the Armored Phantom. It's going to be called the Phantom Guardian for us. It's going to absorb some damage while using Necro and turn some of that back onto your enemies with its command. I am curious what that means. This could be really cool if it was like a taunt and it had a health bar, so it would draw aggro off of you, and that's how it helped absorb damage. In all honesty, it's probably just going to be you activate it, or like while it's out, you take some percent less damage, and then it stores that amount of damage, and then you activate its command ability, and it just deals it. That's probably what it's going to do, but it would be really, really interesting if it was a taunt or something, because that could help out quite a bit at a lot of bosses where juggling boss aggro is relatively important. So we'll see. It's probably just going to be relatively simple, but they could get really ambitious with this, and that would be really cool. Gate of Elodinus and Ode to the Devourer. This is going to be a quest and skilling boss. Honestly, I like Croceus. One of my big issues with Croceus, that's very samey. So once you've done one clean kill of Croceus, every single kill you'll ever do of that boss is going to go exactly the same. That makes it a lot less fun, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily not a good time. It's just you can only do so much Croceus before you get bored of it, right? My big want for this is that there's a lot more variety in the Gate of Elodinus than there is in Croceus. It would be really nice if every kill wasn't exactly the same. So this is coming out relatively soon. This is coming out in a month and a week. So it's coming out in 5 weeks. So this is pretty soon. So definitely looking forward to this. Obviously, the rewards are going to be an interesting space. We'll see what comes with those rewards. But yeah, this looks good. I like skilling. I'm a skiller. And more skilling content's more better. Do Slayer Creature, Necromancy, Slayer Helm. This is cool. Slayer not working with Necromancy, or the Slayer Helm not working with Necromancy is not ideal. It's going to work with Necromancy relatively soon. I'm curious to see what else these drop. Obviously, I'm going to farm this just so I can upgrade my own Slayer Helm. But yeah, I'll be really curious to see what else this drops and if this is going to be a generally profitable creature or if the main thing this is here for is get your Slayer Helm, never come back again. We'll see, but yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. New Halloween event. This looks super cool. This looks really good. Generally, I like the art direction of RuneScape's like overworld stuff, so this looks good. Obviously, the cosmetics are going to be nuts. Hopefully, we see the Ensouled Pumpkin head come back, mainly because I don't have one. I'm never going to use it because I'm 200 mil Necro, but I don't have one, so it would be cool if I could get another one. Group Iron Man is one of the biggest updates, and I think that they're doing a lot of things to make Group Iron Man work in RS3. So one thing that they've said is that augmentable items are going to be able to be placed in the group storage. That is super good. That's one of the big question marks I had around Group Iron. Another big question mark I have is, can summoning charms and can dyed items be placed in group storage? If both of those things can be placed in group storage, this is like the perfect game mode. I have absolutely no complaints about it. Super, super, super cool. I would be curious to see how group deaths work if there's also going to be a group hardcore iron. So one thing to keep in mind about RuneScape 3 is that a lot of the big group bosses, it's pretty rare that not pretty rare, but for one person to die in a coordinated group is pretty rare. It's usually you get the kill or your whole team gets wiped. So I'd be really curious to see how that works with group hardcore Iron Man deaths, if we're even getting group hardcore Iron Man. So for instance, if you're doing Virago, right, and your group ends up messing up push at Virago, your whole team gets wiped. Obviously, if you think you're going to mess up push, you just teleport out. But I would be curious to see if that's one instance of group death. So, it only counts for one. Or if, hey, all 5 of you died, that's it. I would be curious to see how that goes. Because I don't believe that's how any of the bosses in old school work, where it'll just group execute the entire team. So, yeah, I'd be very, very curious to see how that turns out. 110 woodcutting and fletching. This is coming out later this year. This is going to be cool. It is weird that woodcutting has like a tier, 80 hatchet? And then now mining has a tier 110. I don't know what level the hero fishing rod is, but either way, it is nice that woodcutting is going to catch up with mining and smithing. Hopefully the new hatchet, or one of the new hatchets, because they used hatchets plural, one of the new hatchets has incorporates the Inferno Adze. It's weird how hard that is to get versus how worthless it is. So it'd be cool if we got like a Hatchet of Fire and Ice, where you combine an Inferno Adze, a crystal pickaxe or a crystal hatchet and an Encamdo hatchet. That'd be really, really cool to like combine all of those. You get the Infernal Adze proc, and it's also a level 100 hatchet. That would be nuts. And that's a really cool name. New level 100 range weapon. My guess is that this is going to be the same as the Masterwork sword we just got. So this weapon is probably going to be war worthless. Because they also included that there's going to be a Masterwork range weapon, my guess is that we're going to be able to craft a crossbow or crossbows that are going to have a special attack and or unique passive. So this is definitely something worth looking forward to. Having something else to do with range besides Bow the Last Guardian in late November, early December. This looks really interesting. Desert Quest, we talked about this already. For all the people that care about quests, this is cool. Make sure you do Fight Club and the new quest that comes out. If nothing else, Fight Club is really important because this gives you access to the best runecrafting XP in the game. Protean runecrafting at Metaphos or at the Soul Altar specifically, very, very, very good. So with 110 runecrafting being a thing that's coming out early next year, you definitely want to get this done. So try to get Fight Club done by December, and then when Oh the Devourer just comes out, just do it. Listen, quests are cringe. I know a lot of people don't like quests. I don't mind them, but a lot of people think that quests are cringe. If you do the new quest every time it comes out, it's not that bad. And Christmas Village is coming back. So cool. And they said that Black Party Hat is coming back. So yeah. I already have one, but maybe I'll get another one so I can merch some idiots on the Grand Exchange smile. But in all seriousness, I like the seasonal events. Seasonal events are really good. Even if they're not like super hype, they've always been relatively interesting to me. So, and I usually cap out all my rewards on this seasonal events. But yeah, overall, the roadmap looks pretty good. The only concern I have is this level 100 range weapon and the level 100 magic weapon. Those are the two biggest concerns that I have, and I hope that they get handled a little bit better than the new Masterwork weapon was. But besides that, this all looks super good. Group Hardcore, or Group Iron Man rather, is something I would like to participate in. The combat mastery system is really, really cool. This is probably the thing I'm most excited for. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you like the video, feel free to give it a like. If you like the content in general, feel free to subscribe so that you can support the channel and I can make more content. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.